It's the only story that anybody cares about. And guess what? Somebody's unhappy. Who's right and who's wrong, and do we even care at this point? Maybe the WNBA has already peaked. WNBA has thrown hundreds of millions of dollars by now into this to do what? To try to get women to be more interested in basketball? That's how people feel about the on-court product. The WNBA, and guess what? Somebody's unhappy. It's the only WNBA story that there really is. It's the only story that anybody cares about, quite frankly, is the players are unhappy. They don't feel valued. They don't feel loved. They don't feel that the league is going to compensate them properly in the next contract. They hate their commissioner. Commissioner doesn't seem to be a very big fan of the players. And you can get in the building tonight in Las Vegas for game 1 of the WNBA Finals for $35. That's how people feel about the on-court product. Caitlin Clark, who we have not talked about in quite some time on this program, at least not at any length. You know that she was held to only 13 games during the course of this season. We talked a lot about the status of her injuries and would she return. In the meantime, Sophie Cunningham gave us things to talk about by running around half naked and twerking her ass in the middle of a mall like a weirdo. Let's be honest. I don't care if you are good looking. That's weird behavior for a 30-year-old professional athlete. Those are the stories that we followed. Are you aware that the Indiana Fever came within an overtime loss of being in the finals right now? And that they did it without Caitlin Clark? They did it without Sophie Cunningham? And they lost Kelsey Mitchell, their best remaining player, in the third quarter of Game 5 of the semifinals, and still pushed Las Vegas into overtime and damn near knocked off A'ja Wilson, the reigning MVP, and her team. How did the Indiana Fever do that? Well, nobody really seems to care. I think that is the takeaway. The Indiana Fever is not the object of anybody's fascination. Caitlin Clark is. And Caitlin Clark was asked about Napheesa Collier's recent comments about WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, and here's what she had to say.
We need great leadership in this time across all levels. This is straight up the most important moment in this league's history, where this league's been around for 25 plus years, and this is a moment we have to capitalize on. So that's honestly what I would say. I think there's, Fee said it all with what she said, and I think the points she made were very valid.
All right, Caitlin Clark obviously agrees with Napheesa Collier. She had an opportunity to expound and basically said what Fee said. Appears to be her position, and I think that Caitlin Clark probably speaks for many other players around the league as well, based on what we're hearing. So, who's right and who's wrong, and do we even care at this point in this saga that continues to drag on? The WNBA, which has never turned a profit in its 30-year history, estimates are that it lost $40 million this year. But the players are convinced that they're woefully underpaid. Who's right and who's wrong? You know what this reminds me of? Have you ever had a friend who was in a relationship and it's a dysfunctional relationship? Look, unless you're very blessed, you have probably been in one, at least one, somewhere in your life if you're a grown-ass adult. So you know what it feels like to be in a relationship that's deteriorating, a relationship where the two of you just don't see eye to eye, and it becomes a grudge until it meets usually not a very pleasant end. Have you ever been in a situation where your friend was in one of those relationships and you finally saw enough of it to realize that you didn't really think that either one of them were right and they kind of deserved each other, and that the best thing that could possibly happen would be for the relationship just to be over? There isn't a good guy. That's kind of how I feel about this collective bargaining positioning that's going on right now in the WNBA. I mean, let's take a look at it. This is a league, as I said, it's never turned a profit. It's been subsidized by the NBA since day one. It's been a charity project, really. The WNBA has thrown hundreds of millions of dollars by now into this to do what? To generate it, to try to get women to be more interested in basketball, to promote women's basketball, whatever it is. It has been hundreds of millions of dollars in losses by now. $40 million, as I said earlier, if we're to believe what the league lost this year. The NBA continues to subsidize it, and the viewpoint of the owners and the commissioner is that raises can't come until operational profits exist. Okay, that's the position of the league. The players look at it and they see expansion teams selling for $250 million. They see a new television contract worth in excess of $1 billion. They see that they're only getting about 20 to 25% of the league's revenue, whereas NBA players get 50%. And what does this lead to? It leads to two very different perspectives on the same issue. The owners are clearly, in my opinion, correct about the short-term financial outlook of the league. Maybe we want to turn a profit of at least $5 one time before we let the players back up the Brinks truck and make off with incredible salaries. And I get where the owners are coming from. The players look at it and they say, well, somebody's paying $250 million for these teams. If we're really worth 5-figure salaries when we come into the league, even if we're Caitlin Clark, why is the television deal over $1 billion? And it would be hard to argue that those positions aren't good questions to ask. If I was in a situation where I was making the money that the WNBA players are making and I saw a, fucking $1 billion plus television deal, I would probably be saying that more of that money should be coming into my pocket as well. But the thing that I can tell you for sure is that I'm tired of it. And producer Tim made an interesting point before the show as we were having our show text thread that we have all the time. He said, maybe the WNBA has already peaked. Is it possible that 2024 Caitlin Clark mania was the peak of the WNBA and it was really more about one person than a sudden interest in women's basketball? I know that they retained some of those gains this year. The league certainly was not helped by the fact that Caitlin Clark ended up missing over, 2/3 of the season and was unavailable for the playoffs. And who knows what the Fever could have done with her. They came within an overtime loss of being in the finals. With a healthy Caitlin Clark, are they in the finals right now? Imagine what that would have fucking done for ratings and for the league. But that's not the case. Here's what I would say to the players. Okay? Nobody cares about 99% of you. You're like the scab football players who came into the NFL back in the 80s. Yeah, you're wearing a big league uniform. You're out there wearing the helmet of the Dallas Cowboys. You got the star on the helmet. But nobody really gave a shit about who the players were in those uniforms because they didn't care about those players. They cared about the real players. And in the case of the WNBA, it's a lot less optimistic even than that because the only players, who are the players that are really cared about? A'ja Wilson could walk down any street in America and nobody would know who the fuck that she is other than the fact that they would look at her, see that she was extremely tall, looks like an athlete, and figure she's somebody. She's not going to blend into the crowd with her stature. But I could pass A'ja Wilson on the street right now and I would have no idea that that's who it is. The only players that people really care about are Caitlin Clark, maybe Paige Beckers is getting a little bit of a toehold of popularity. Sophie Cunningham's popular as long as she's playing with Caitlin Clark and walking around half naked. Angel Reese, people at least know who she is because, Many of them don't like her, and she's the league's villain. She's the mean girl, or that's the perception. And then who else is there that anybody gives a shit about? Caitlin Clark is Hulk Hogan. 99% of the rest of you are the Brooklyn Brawler. But you want to be paid like Hulk Hogan. That's the thing. If we were talking about real reality, Caitlin Clark should be making about $50 million a year, and the vast majority of the rest of the league should probably get like a modest 25 or 30% pay increase, maybe 50%. But they all think that this is their opportunity to make tons of money. I don't begrudge them that. Any kind of collective bargaining, you're trying to get the best deal you can get, and if the other side will do something stupid and pay you more than you're worth, that's just called capitalism. So try to get the best deal that you can, but I'm not buying it. This episode today, my friends, is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but at Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the action this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right, and even better when you're right and you make some money. And do we have this graphic here? I want to put it up here. I want you to see what Prize Picks can do for you. Here are my Prize Picks this week. Take a look at that. I am a fan of the more or lesses on extra points, because I feel like I have a pretty decent handle on that. And this week, I think that Minnesota is going to have 2 or more extra, but they're going to score at least 2 touchdowns against the Browns. I really do believe that. And I think that the Ravens can score 2 touchdowns, even with Cooper Rush under center. So those are my picks this week, and I'm looking to multiply my money here. So Prize Picks, make sure you download the app today. Just use my code Ricky, and you'll get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. That is code Ricky for $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Millions are enjoying Prize Picks. You can too. Sign up today. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And just by mentioning Hulk Hogan and the Brooklyn Brawler, my brother in professional wrestling has appeared. It's like sending out the bat signal for this man. It's my pleasure now to welcome to the program Outkick's senior college sports reporter, as well as a man who remains NWO for life, the great Trey Wallace. What's up, brother?
That's why I wore all black today, buddy. I knew I was coming on with you. You know, we just had to give the poor life out there. We're good.
That's it. That's it. All right, man. Look, what has gone wrong here? We're talking about the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Tim and I were talking about the show today. He's like, you should talk about Western Kentucky with Trey Wallace. And I said, what has gone wrong in the universe that this is possibly a topic of college football here? But I'm glad to do it. Give me your thoughts here. What are we thinking about the Hilltoppers?
You got a 4-1 Western Kentucky team playing a 3-1 Delaware team tonight. And the Hilltoppers, look, I'm very familiar with the Hilltoppers. As somebody that graduated from the University of South Alabama, and we used to have to travel to Bowling Green, Kentucky all the time to play the Hilltoppers in basketball in one of the coolest arenas they have. I'm all about, that crazy ass mascot that they have along the sideline. And at the same time, like, something about Hilltopper football, man. It's fun to watch. And you're going to get 2 tonight at 6:30. They're going to play Delaware, the Hens, and you're going to get a little taste of college football. Now, look, there's better games tonight. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe that turns into the best one. But just from a standpoint, man, like, you got to put a little respect on old Western Kentucky, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, there he is. That's Big Red right
Look
there.
Look at Big Red.
I consider to be. To me, he's the best mascot in college football. Of course, college sports, period. Of course, I'm biased. I'm a little biased. I believe that his 23andMe test did confirm that he's cousins with Grimace. Yes. Trey, they're definitely from the same family lineage. And look, it's good to see Western Kentucky get a little bit of love. Just to have a little moment here talking about it on the program kind of warms my heart a little bit, because it's only once in a great while that we have 5 minutes of relevance on a national stage. You know, I mean, many years ago, I can't remember, Trey, you might remember. I feel like it was '02 that we won the Division 2A championship, went undefeated under Jack Harbaugh. And that's kind of the pinnacle to this point for us as a college football team. But there are the helmets, so, you know, looking good.
Well, they've been a problem. They've been a problem for opposing teams for a long time now. I mean, you know, when you have quarterbacks running through there and making their way to the NFL is at the same time, like the Hilltoppers. If you've never been to the basketball arena, go check out a game at the basketball arena. I used to go to Bowling Green a lot, like also because it was so close to Nashville. And so, but great campus, great school, one of the best mascots in the country. They had those alternate helmets right there that were absolutely badass. It was freaking me out on the field, though, at the same time, because you didn't know what you were looking at, either the eyes of the players or the eyes on the helmet. But, man, it's like every now and then, you know, we have to give them praise. And I think with their record of where they're at right now, let's see if they can do a little – they should win that damn game tonight. So I just love Big Red, period.
5. Yeah, we're getting 2.5 on the road. Five victories by October the 3rd would be a pretty impressive feat for the boys from Bowling Green there. But I appreciate the love, Trey. You know, EA Diddle Arena that you're referring to, and then of course, you know, they've done a lot. They've done a lot with LT Smith Stadium there as well. They've
upgraded it. They've upgraded the basketball arena. Like, they have done a really good job of figuring out how to tap into it, because college athletics, like everybody likes the Hilltoppers. So, you know, at the same time, I'll take it. Like, it's great. It gives me something to keep an eye on tonight. I don't think I'm going to be staying up too late tonight. Got a long day tomorrow here in Tuscaloosa, but we'll find out. Should be fun.
Well, I got a question here in the rundown. This is either from Tim or Jared. What's a Hilltopper? And it is a hilly campus. Anybody who ever made the walk up to Cherry Hall knows why we're the Hilltoppers. It is, you'll get your cardio in if you're hoofing it around from building to building down in Bowling Green.
Yeah, trust me. Like a year and a half ago, my big ass would have had troubles getting up and down the hills. But now, feeling good, I can probably go conquer that campus if I needed to, if we're being honest with each other. So that one of the main priorities, right?
I love it, brother. You're looking great. So tell me here, what else do we have going on in college football? Ed Orgeron is talking about getting back into the game, huh? What do we think of this? And I don't know, is it too early for us? I suppose it's never too early to start speculating where potential landing spots for Coach O might be.
Yeah, that one's going to be interesting, because I don't know if he pops right big into like a Power 4 conference school. Now there, like, I don't see him taking, or let me rephrase that. Taking, Ronnie might get on to me when I say taking a job. I don't know if he would be even offered like an Arkansas job or something along those lines. But the scenario, in my opinion, that could play out is if John Sumrall, the coach at Tulane, decides to take another job at a bigger school. No offense to Tulane, because I love Tulane. You get the Bayou boy Ed Orgeron down in New Orleans coaching up the Green Wave. So that's how you're getting back in college football with a pretty decent sized job. Tulane's a decent sized job right now. I just don't know of like the other schools that he would actually be a fit right now for. Like, can you imagine Ed Orgeron at Oklahoma State? Like, they just got done with craziness with Mike Gundy. Like, that would be batshit crazy Ed Orgeron in Stillwater. But at the same time, somebody's
That's the kind of move that I would make with a woman, Trey. You know what I mean? Like, I've gone Gundy to Orgeron in my personal life before, and I would not recommend it for the reasons that you state.
Well, a little bit crazy. I can tell how you kind of like it. At the same time, like with that Orgeron, like you gotta be able to. He would be like a good CEO, But man, you better bring in a staff around him if he's going to succeed. I think that's the biggest thing that stands out to me about Ed O. And at the same time, like, he don't want to go be like a defensive line coach somewhere. I know he'd make a crap load of money doing it, but he wants to be a head coach again. Do I think he can do it? Yeah, but somebody that's trying to rebuild a program, I don't know if they would take the chance on Ed Orgeron, but I do expect him back. I mean, I've had conversations with him about it. He wants to get back into coaching. So I would expect him back on the sidelines in the next 2 years. I don't know. The crazy thing is, like, we don't know. Obviously, there's like 4 or 5 jobs that are open right now. But, like, do we see Ed Orgeron as the UCLA coach? Like, no, not really. Even Virginia Tech, I mean, I could go on. But I do think that there could be something open up. I think it's going to be one of the craziest carousels we've seen in college football coaching in recent years. And I am excluding the Nick Saban thing, because when Nick Saban retired, that was just a massive ripple effect, that kind of hurt the sport. So I think I do think it's going to heat up over the next month and a half. If Florida loses bad this weekend to Texas, which I don't think they will, I'm talking about the bad part. When does that job technically come open? So yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see where some of these coaches land, and if Ed Orgeron gets a sniff.
All right, Trey, help me with this one here. This is one where I feel completely old and out of it. TCU, apparently the fanciest, newest, most amazing thing in the world of helping your athletes recover and take care of their bodies, rejuvenate, is the snow room. Yep. That the Horned Frogs have installed in their new, $50+ million athletic paradise down there. Take me through what a snow room is and why TCU believes that this is worthwhile for their players.
Yeah, so I've talked to a couple coaches down there about this in Fort Worth, and what they have is pretty much it's a recovery room. And so you go in there, and I don't know the exact temperature, but it's cold as hell, as you can imagine. What they do is you're going to go in there. You're either going to stand around for like 3 to 4 minutes, or you're going to walk in there with sandals on and whatnot and try not to freeze your ass off. But this is more easier than going into a cryo chamber. So you just have them walk into the snow room, and it's a body recovery thing. And they spent a lot of money on this. I got sent some pictures from a couple buddies, and it's amazing. It's real trippy, by the way. I mean, it's all purple. Like you're walking in, like, don't take some shrooms before you walk into that room. You'll be freaking out. But I will say, you're starting to see college sports in athletic departments come up with different ways and different cool things to get recruits there and whatnot. Like, I don't know if a snow room is going to be the main thing why a player is going to go to TCU, but it is damn cool to have, and they spend a good amount of money on it. And the upkeep on that bad boy, you can imagine how many generators are flowing to keep that thing really, really cold. It's just something, like I had a coach tell me, I was asking kind of why about this. And it's like, okay, well, we can go buy 5 cryo chambers. And we can have 5 players going there, every 3 minutes, or we can get 30 players to bunch up into this snow room that looks more like a bat cave. And at the same time, they get their full recovery. And so it's kind of a neat concept. Like, I give TCU credit for, now, it wasn't TCU that came up with this idea. Some outside party was selling this idea, and they got TCU on it. But for them to spend that type of money, man, it's neat, dude. Like, so I was told, like, right when you get done with practice, players usually go through what I like to call, and coaches like to call, a car wash, meaning they'll get sprayed down and whatnot. Their equipment will get sprayed down. It's literally like walking through a car wash, but think of it as a person. And so with this one right here, you take off your gear and whatnot, and you stroll right in for 3 to 4 minutes, and then you can hop in the sauna afterwards. But it's just all about recovery, man. They're spending so much money, and they have to, by the way. They have to spend this type of money on nutrition, body recovery, muscle machines, you name it. And so TCU found a cool way to do it. And I don't know if I would last Like, if there was some kind of weird ass challenge you presented to me, would I last like an hour in there? No, absolutely not. I don't feel like dying on a college campus, like in an athletic, like snow room. That would be like the worst way. How'd it happen? I was in the snow room. No, this is not the 1970s. This is not Studio 54. This is on a college campus. So that would be kind of terrifying.
Yeah, I don't want to die on a college campus under any circumstances, Trey. I'm probably lucky that I made it through college. Honestly,
I'm telling you. I mean, I'm back here in Tuscaloosa, and I'll be honest with you. I had some days here in the college era, and like the house I used to live in is gone. It's now a condominium complex. And at the same time, there are a lot of things. I know I had a good time in college. I just can't remember them, Ricky. That's the problem.
That's how you know that it was fun, by the way. So you mentioned you're in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Vandy, this weekend. We remember what happened last year. I'm sure Kalen DeBoer is wanting to make sure that we don't see any type of a repeat of that, as Alabama has a little bit of momentum right now. What are you looking for in this one this weekend?
Man, Alabama has revenge on its mind. I talked to a couple fans today. They're already camping out for tomorrow's game day show and whatnot, whatever. They have revenge on their minds. But then Vanderbilt at the same time is trying to come in here and act like, you know what, last year wasn't a fluke. Like, we beat you last year because we were better on the field that day. That's what you're going to see tomorrow, man. Like, Diego Pavia, and we've talked about him a good amount on this show, but my man just comes out. He doesn't give a shit. He's going to lay now. I don't know how long it will last, him running around and getting railed by 290-pound defensive linemen off the edge. But at the same time, he just puts this team on his back. And there's a difference with Vanderbilt, brother. They're good all around. Like, they've got a solid defense. They're going to give up some points to Alabama. But that offense, to me, is stroking at the right time. And Diego Pavia is one of the best stories in college football. And so, but then, I'm in Athens last week, and I watched Alabama go down there, and they pretty much walked the dog on Georgia. Didn't score a single point in the second half and still beat Georgia. That doesn't happen a lot. So Alabama has something to prove in this game, and they're trying to enact revenge on Vanderbilt. But I just, I know the line's sitting at 10.5 right now, and I like that line. I do think Bama will end up winning at the end of the day, but I think that Vanderbilt covers, and I think that they walk out of here. I think Vanderbilt walks out of here with their heads held high. Sure, they would be pissed off if they lost, but the craziest thing of it all is, man, if Vanderbilt strolls into Bryant-Denny Stadium tomorrow and beats Alabama, the conversation absolutely changes around the doors. They are a CFP, college playoff football contender. And that's where I think the world could be flipped upside down again, because they could also be the first school to reach bowl eligibility. So I'm fascinated to see what happens with this game tomorrow. I really am, because a part of me says, okay, Alabama might come out and win by 20 points, kind of run away in the fourth quarter. And the other part of me says, man, that offense of Vanderbilt, it's kind of hard to stop. Diego Pavia, get outside the pocket, make some plays. Like, this one is going to be fascinating, because I think it can go in three different directions. We just talked about two. The other one is Vanderbilt just comes out and hits them 4 or 5 times in the mouth, and Alabama doesn't know how to respond. So we're going to find out. That's why they play the game. That's why, I'm here and not in Tallahassee. I felt like this was the game to be at, and I want to see if Vanderbilt can live up to it. This is not your grandpa's Vanderbilt squad. Folks out there, if you're laughing right now, thinking Vanderbilt doesn't have a chance this year, I'm just telling you, this is a good football team. Like, just don't try to base your point off what happened in the past, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. These boys are ready to show up. And Johnny Football will be on the sidelines tomorrow in a Diego Pavia jersey on the Vanderbilt sidelines. So I expect some crazy things to happen even off the field.
Yeah, it's a brave new world, especially if they, Vanderbilt beats Alabama 2 years in a row, gets one on the road, because you're not kidding, brother. I mean, back in the day, Vanderbilt, that was one of those where you'd look at Kentucky's schedule every year and you'd just be like, okay, well, that's one of the 2 SEC games that we're going to win this year. That's basically how it was. Even Kentucky felt like royalty compared to the Commodores.
They've changed the narrative, man. They really have. Like, I give a lot of credit to Vanderbilt. Like, they were, like you just said, like, they were that team on the schedule in the past. And no offense to Vanderbilt, I think they would all agree with me, at least the fans, that, yeah, I mean, you chalked it up as a W. You can't do that anymore with Clark Lee and what they're doing in Nashville. So, I'm very interested because Vanderbilt's trying to prove one thing, Alabama's trying to prove the other, and something's going to happen in the middle, and we're going to find out. Tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun, I think. And I don't. If you just said before the season started, hey Trey, you're going to be in Tuscaloosa for the 5th week of the season covering Vanderbilt and Alabama, I'd ask you, hey man, can you pass a piss test? Like, that's what I'd have probably said. But here we are, and we're going to find out tomorrow. And this one's going to be fun. Can't wait to be in the stadium to cover it.
All right, brother. We know that you will give us the finest reporting as always. Great to see you, my friend, and look forward to doing it again soon.
I look forward to it, buddy. Hope you'll have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, brother. He is Outkick senior college sports reporter, the great Trey Wallace. And allow me now to welcome to the show a man who may or may not be able to pass a piss test. I speak, of course, of the international streaming star who joins me from, well, the hometown of Vanderbilt itself, Nashville, Tennessee. He is, of course, Ronnie T-shirts. And Ronnie,
how
what
could
do you
I
think?
not
Diego
pass a piss
Pavia.
test?
You would pass every piss test. You are like the cleanest.
Yeah.
You're the cleanest guy that I know.
Maybe it'd come up with like too much blue cheese
I'm
dressing, but that'd be about it.
Yeah, you might test positive for marinara, but that's about all there is. So I don't know, Ron. I mean, do you give Vanderbilt any kind of a chance to beat Alabama?
You know, at the beginning of the year when Pavia was coming out saying, you know, we're a national championship caliber team, I was like, dude, settle down. And I still think settle down on that, but they went into South Carolina and they went into Virginia Tech. And listen, Virginia Tech's not Virginia Tech of old, but still, they went in and they put beat downs on those schools. So the line's, I think, 10.5, and my instinct is, oh my gosh, take Alabama and bet the house on it. But man, Vanderbilt they just seem like they're a different Vanderbilt team than the one that we're used to, like you guys were talking about.
Yeah, saucy. Getting all, calm down a little bit. You're from Vanderbilt. You can't be talking about national championships, but I'm going to talk about a championship right now, Ron, because as you know, it's Championship Friday here on the program. So buckle up, baby. It's time for America's Poll of the Day, and let's go to it now at Super 70 Sports on X, where the eagle flies higher than Diego Pavia was when he said that Vanderbilt had a chance at a national championship. It's crazy talk. Confidence is good. Jack Palance once said that confidence was very sexy, even, which is probably also true. But
absolutely.
It's a fine line sometimes between confidence and delusion, and I think that Diego is straddling it. Let's get to Championship Friday, Ron. We start with a wild card because we didn't have a show on Monday, of course, after my Las Vegas misadventures. So I have plugged in the Swedish supergroup ABBA, Mamma Mia, here as the first choice, and then playoff baseball, which ran away with it on Tuesday, I believe it was, may have been Wednesday. The 1990 UNLV Runnin' Rebels, and then Poppin' Bubble Wrap, which did great work just yesterday. So here we are. Those are the options. Break it down for me, Ronnie, as only you can.
ABBA, I mean, I would never choose to listen to ABBA, but I mean, I find their songs, I don't know, is amusing a good word? Like, they're like, I guess in the right situation, a good ABBA song is good for the vibe. But yeah, I would never choose to listen to ABBA. As I said, believe Tuesday, playoff baseball, it's still baseball. So that's going to be a no for me, Ricky. Although I told you off air, Tyler went to the Cubs game yesterday and she texted me, holy shit. I don't really care. And I was nauseous in the ninth inning when the Padres started to kind of make a comeback. She said it was awesome. So maybe there's something to be said about playoff baseball. Dude, 1990 UNLV running Rebels. That's when I still liked college basketball. And that team was just, it was a super team. It was one of the best teams and one of the most fun teams to watch I think I've ever seen. We talked about bubble wrap yesterday. It's fun. We still do it, but this for me, it's just not even close. It's UNLV.
All right. Let me go through this here real quickly. In fact, before I do, let's bring in producer Tim and get his views on this. It is Championship Friday after all. I'm not going to jump in ahead of Tim. We do have a batting order here usually that we follow. Tim, what do you make of this? What do you think of Abba there as the wild card choice that I made? And then how do you vote?
Yeah, I do think Abba's on the surface is kind of a meh, but I think musically when you get there, there's a couple of things that sort of make you interested. So not a terrible choice there, Professor Cobb. Pop and bubble wrap, man, I don't know. I'd rather eat it than pop it at this point in my life. I don't know. It's just sort of, I don't know, man. I'm with you, Ron, on the Rebels. Tark, chewing the towel, right? Because they were so different. They were so they were so unique.
Yep.
They were, I mean, Plastic Man, right? Plastic Man was on that spot,
Stacey
right?
Ogden, yeah. Yep.
Right. They just had a whole swagger and a holy shit factor. And I mean, honestly, like it was sort of, I'm not going to get sociology here, but it was sort of that, playground style. Here we come. We're gonna kick down the door of the white boy club. So I'm with you, bro. I wish it wasn't a choice, but for me, man, there's nothing like. And I know that I'm a 50-year-old dude who grew up in New York, so a lot of our folks may not like that part of it, but for me, there's nothing like playoff baseball. Taylor's reaction, holy shit. Like when you're at a playoff game, I mean, I'd say other than hockey, there's no other sport for me that there's just a higher level of holy shitness.
Yeah, Tim,
than
I think that if I actually lived in a city where the team played kind of in the city, because like Atlanta plays in the suburbs.
Right.
But Chicago plays in the city. New York plays in the city. I think I might have a very different viewpoint about how I look at baseball and especially playoff baseball. But it's just
Ron,
I've just
can I ask you
never
a
lived
question?
anyplace. Yeah.
Is your hoodie today? Is that an Ohio State hoodie, or is that the number of baseball games you've watched in the last 40 years?
Both.
I think it's both. Yeah.
Both. Yeah, both.
Ron, we got to get you to watch. Did you listen to the, I think I know the answer to this. Did you listen to the Paul Simon song I sent you?
When did you send me one?
Text
I put it in the Cobb crew.
Yeah.
We'll get to there's a million texts there. I missed that. You need to send me
You're
one.
You're just gonna tell me that you fucking hate it anyway.
No, I'll tell you if I like it. If I like it, what's the name of the song? I'll listen to it. What's the name of the song?
Late in the Evening.
Okay.
It's called Late in the Evening.
Yeah, you'll like it. Jared liked it too. Ron, real quick, so my wife is a Red Sox fan, so it's been an interesting week here.
House divided.
She has a great point. Like, she basically tells me to shut up and puts the TV on 20 for postseason baseball. That her point is an interesting one. It's just, you can feel the energy, hear the buzz. Like a regular season game, dude, it puts me to sleep. I'm with you. Fifth inning, I'm sleeping. And it's interesting. And that was even without our soundbar on last night. That, like, I think Sinkster Cobb may say the same there.
Yeah, ABBA I like, or I wouldn't have put it. Did either of you guys ever see the musical, the movie Mamma Mia?
Yeah, it was amazing.
No, I'm a man.
Yeah. It's apparently about. I've only seen parts of it because my girls have watched it like 16 times while they're over here at various points. It's basically, what was it? She was a slut and she fucked 3 guys, Tim, and she didn't know if her daughter, like who the dads were. So they all thought that they were the dad. Is that the plot,
Yes.
Tim?
Yeah, it wasn't exactly explained to me in those terms, but yes. Oh, Mamma Mia. Yes.
Yeah. She
And
was
the
just a
songs are
total
so
hoe
happy
bag.
about it. The songs are so happy for
Yeah.
the storyline. Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. It's, the music of ABBA is pretty good. I'm not a musical guy, but, I do like their music. They're one of those where you think maybe you like 2 or 3 songs. Then once you start looking at their songs, you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot that one. Oh, yeah, they had that one too. Playoff baseball, certainly Tim summed that up rather well, I thought. I loved the running Rebs as well. I'm still disappointed that they didn't go back-to-back, getting upset by Duke just a year after blowing their doors off in the national championship game. And then popping bubble wrap, I like it. Apparently I don't like it as much as our audience, but I am going to tell you the most satisfying part of it for me. Like if you have a roll of it and then you just wring it like a towel, that is satisfying to me. Yeah. I kind of want to do that right now. Just twist it.
Yeah.
It's almost like
a
little bit of that right there for you. All right, well, let's run this and see what the people are saying. I got a feeling it's coming down to playoff baseball and bubble wrap. So let's see.
Running with the Rebels. I'm going to change the lyrics. Running with the Rebels. I think it's going to be baseball, knowing your crew. Oh, yeah.
And, boy, bubble wrap. I was wrong.
At least the Rebels beat bubble wrap.
That is a solid performance for the running Rebels. I think what we're learning here, though, is that there is a recency bias. I understood why Tim wanted me to bring in other elements of the show. It's just good production, and Tim is obviously wise in these things. But it seems like after doing it that sometimes whatever is on the tip of people's tongues or minds, so to speak, as the case may be, it seems like it gets a boost. Like, I just feel like if we did this in the dead of winter, maybe playoff baseball would still win. I don't know, but there's no way it would get 50%, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It just
wouldn't
feels
get 50.
like,
Wouldn't get 50.
It just feels like the time of the year. People are just vibing it right now, and for good reason. I know that we're going to get a little bit later in the program into when we come back. We'll get into a little bit of what happened in the Bronx last night. Really good stuff last night. The Yankees and the Red Sox, with the Yankees moving on with a tremendous performance from the rookie Cam Schlittler. And I know that you were there, Tim, for his major league debut, which is even cooler now. I know that you thought it was cool at the time, all of his family there. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But Tim, tell me here about the Phillies 999 challenge. What's going on here?
So maybe you've seen it. Some of these girls on bets from their boyfriends to go to a game and see if they can do 9 beers and 9 hot dogs in 9 innings. I'm not sure if you've seen.
Wait, didn't we do that with JJ Watt?
That was JJ Watt. That was JJ Watt's thing. Yeah.
Right. So I can't get over this. And I got my chat GPT count up because I checked the official league rules for alcohol consumption and how many beers. But see what the Phillies are doing, man. They're leaning into it. They are selling tidy little 999 boxes.
How
literally.
Is that legal?
Well, they're smaller beers, which is why I was chat GPTing. And if we go to the next photo here, you'll see you actually have your own little scoreboard there, like a little. You get to like.
Oh my
check
God!
It's
how much that cost him?
That's a great question, Ron. And if you had sent this in, I would have asked you, Ron, how much was the cost? Because I didn't have anyone. I'm sure Jared could get my ear quickly here. Here's the deal, dude. I would save that. Like that could end up being some weird, collector item someday. Not the hot dogs, obviously, but the beers are smaller. The hot dogs are full size, which surprises me. I'll get you a price on it in a second, but holy shit, man, talking about leaning into, you're a marketing guy, Ron. Like, I don't know.
So what are hot dogs? Hot dogs are probably what, say 7, so 63. What is that? $120?
No, I'm going to guess this is probably like, I don't know. It's a good, Holy shit, Ron. Ron, you are amazing. 114.
There you go.
114.
Wow. Ron, you went over, though, if we were on The Price is Right, so don't get too cocky. But, Ron, wouldn't we have to slap an asterisk on this, though, since they're not full beers?
100%.
Yeah, it's got to be 12 ounces of beer, right? At least 12 ounces of beer per inning.
This is a gimmick. It's not the real thing. If you're not doing 12 ounces of beer, then you're just
dude. You can't find a 12-ounce beer in a stadium. That annoys me. That everything is the 22-ounce. I don't want to drink I'd love nothing more than a 12-ounce beer at a game. Especially, I'm guessing Ricky Miller Park. You couldn't find a small beer anywhere, right?
Did you have a beer last night, Tim? Did you have a beer last night?
I was at home, so.
I thought I heard you were at the game. I was just curious what a 22 or 24 ounce beer costs.
They're $20. They're 19. They're conveniently like 18 or 19 and change, and you leave the change. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Well, but I'm a margarita guy at the ballpark. You know, the great Rex Crum, by the way, is going to be at Game 1 of the ALDS between the Yankees and the Mariners. You know, and I take that back. The Tigers and the Mariners. Is that right? Keep me honest.
Tim? We got the full screen here for you, Ricky. We can promote John Smoltz and the crew, Adam Amin. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep me honest. Yeah. No, it's the Tigers and the Mariners. Of course, the other one is the battle between the teams that had the best record.
Yeah, 5-game series.
94 wins
series.
Each. Yeah, 5-game series here. But Rex Crum told me that the one thing that was for sure at Game 1 is he would have a margarita in hand for the first
Good
pitch.
for him.
Is Rex from Seattle, or does he live in Seattle?
You know, I think he lives in Northern California, right?
Okay, because I was going to say, I would have expected
area?
Yeah, I would have expected he would have invited me just to stay at his house while we were out there last week if he was still in Seattle. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure he would. He would have you over. It's the kind of guy he is. And I'm wearing and how about a little love here for
that is
while we're talking about Seattle this weekend. This is in honor of the greatest uniform matchup of the season.
That jersey is both sexy and slimming on you. Like, you should wear it like for formal things.
Thank you.
Well said, Ron.
Who knows?
Well said.
One day when I get married again, perhaps the nuptials will be exchanged with the Jim Zorn number 10.
What if Leslie wore a Buccaneers jersey?
He wouldn't make it to the altar, Ron. He wouldn't make it to the altar.
we come out all disheveled, hair everywhere, whatever.
Jersey on backwards.
Jersey on backwards. All right, let's take it to a break here. When we come back, we've still got some good stuff for you here. Believe me, there's a couple of things that I still want to get to from earlier that we had planned that I kind of talked our way past. And of course, I'm not going to let you down on a Championship Friday by failing to ask Ron the question that I love to ask him and my cat. What does he do when I'm gone? I finally found out last night. We'll get into all of that and more when we return straight ahead right after this, right here on The Ricky Cobb Show.
Football's finally back. So's the hard-hitting gridiron action on Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks and use code OUTKICK and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Welcome back to the show, my friends, and here's a little trivia for you. Something that you may or may not know, but a nice little nugget of baseball knowledge for you. Who had the most career home runs off of Nolan Ryan? Will Clark with 6. The Thrill wanted all the smoke. And Will Clark replying, yes, indeed. One of the greatest hitters of my generation, and a guy who probably deserves some Hall of Fame consideration, if we're being honest about it. Maybe the sweetest swing that the game has ever seen. He's right there on the list with Ken Griffey Jr., Darryl Strawberry, of the guys who have iconic swings. Now, Nolan Ryan, some people think that last night's performance in the Bronx reminded them a little bit of vintage Nolan Ryan. The Red Sox absolutely got dealt on by the Yankees rookie Cam Schlittler last night. 8 shutout innings, no walks, 12 Ks. Any questions? Maybe better than a lot of Nolan Ryan performances, if we're being honest. The 0 walks was not something that Nolan accomplished very often. And this coming, amazingly, really, from a kid who's only been in the major leagues for 3 months. Look at this. I tweeted last night. On July the 2nd, Cam Schlittler gave up 7 runs in 2 1/3 innings against the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. As Ferris Bueller once said, life comes at you pretty fast, or life happens pretty fast, as the case might be, but it's happening fast for Cam Schlittler. Sorry, I called him Schlittler. I think we all look at his name and we do that. Schlittler. It sounds like a beer, Milwaukee's finest. And not only did he go out there and toss 8 scoreless innings and strike out 12, he had time to troll Red Sox fans after the game as well. Truly an epic performance. I'm going to give him credit for a 13th K here, as he said, "Sit down, Lucy Burge," who predicted the Sox in 3 with her cleavage popping out. Not this year. The reply from Cam Schlittler after putting up donuts all night on her Boston Red Sox. "Sit down, Lucy. Grab a bat. He'll strike you and your titties out just as well." And Cam Schlittler wearing number 31, and I can't be the only person who was having a little bit of a Dave Winfield flashback, was I? If you're of a certain age, number 31 for the New York Yankees evokes Dave Winfield memories. And it also evokes this memory for me when Dave Winfield was signed by the New York Yankees and George Steinbrenner brought him in. Reggie Jackson decided that he was going to show up and announce to the public at the same press conference that he had just signed with the Marshall Tucker Band. Look at that hat right there. Reggie liked that tweet one time, which pleases me, and I assume that Reggie Jackson would also like to know what Gene Cobb does when I'm not at home. And last night I found out. I just made a quick little run out to the grocery store and to grab a bite to eat. I was gone for maybe about an hour. I came home, and as I was walking up, I saw that the door to my deck was open, and there's Gene Cobb in the lower left-hand corner, just lounging on the deck, enjoying life. Gene obviously decided that he didn't want to be inside while I was gone, so he just opened the fucking door, went outside, and made himself comfortable.
With the handle, or was it cracked open?
Neither. The door was shut, but it wasn't locked. And this door does not latch great. So if you shut it, as well as it can be shut, but you don't lock it, Gene is strong enough that he can grab under the door and pull it open like that. And he'll go after it.
Have you ever seen him? Have you seen him open the door?
I've seen him open it many times, Ron.
He'll open.
I go out on the deck to hang out, and I'll shut the door. I'll go out there to listen to music or to talk to Leslie or, whatever else I might want to do outside that may or may not be permissible technically by the terms of my lease, Ron. And Gene he'll open the door and he'll just come out and join me. So apparently I forgot to lock the door, and Gene decided, fuck this, I'm home alone. Going to go outside. He was probably planning to order himself a pizza later, too, if I hadn't gotten home sooner. But
Ron, I can attest,
that's my boy.
My cat gets both paws under the bathroom door when I'm sitting on the Schlitter. I'm being serious. Two paws emerge, 2 paws slide under the door, and I'm like, Jesus, you got to be kidding me.
All right. Well, look, Ron, I've given you an act to follow today because your segment is coming on the heels of a cat opening doors and hanging out on the deck while nobody is at home other than his sister, who I was a little concerned. I was more concerned about her because one time when he opened the door, she came outside and she got on the outside of the bars. And I don't think that she would superfly Snuka her way, 30 feet to the ground. But I know Gene's fat ass isn't going to try that, so I'm not worried about him. But thankfully, she was inside. She had not opted to go out and hang with her brother. So crisis averted. But I got to do a better job of remembering to lock the doors. And that is the bar that's been set for weird stuff as I prepare to ask you the question. What the fuck, Ron?
So we're going to keep it with pets, Ricky. So not a cat, not a dog, but a cockatiel. And we might bring Tim in just to get like a little bit of information on cockatiels. But this one was...
Is he our senior cockatiel correspondent?
And cockatoo. Cockatiel and cockatoo.
Okay.
All
right.
So Jared found this for me. He actually took the picture and he thought it was hilarious, and I agreed. Is somebody lost their cockatiel and they handled it just like somebody that would have lost a dog or a cat. Took a picture, put it on a telephone pole, said there's a reward. And Jared and I were talking about this and we're like, well, the bird's going to fly away or get eaten by something. This isn't like a dog or a cat that's just going to be walking around.
Well, you can't we can't assume the worst, Ron. I mean, you'd be great. Like if there was a missing child, you would just show up and tell the parents, look, your kid is probably in a reservoir, probably has been there for at least a day.
I am an eternal realist.
You can stop putting these signs up. Your kid has almost certainly been murdered if you look at the statistics.
So the bird's name, in case you were wondering, Ricky, is Olivia. And according to Jared, but we don't know the story. We don't know how this ended, but according to Jared, that sign wasn't there when he went to work today. So either
Olivia loves smart food popcorn.
Yeah.
You can catch her in a popcorn bag. Rod? So if there's somebody that sees this, they could, grab a popcorn bag and capture her due to her love
the people's
of
phone number, is on this reward thing. I mean, I'm more than willing to give them a call over the weekend or text them.
Bro, seriously, dude, call them.
All right. I'll text them and I'll see how it turned out and I'll report on it Monday.
She loves hearing. She loves YouTube too, by the way. So maybe we should start our community page going. You see that last line? She loves hearing cockatiel chirps on YouTube.
Do you think she subscribes to the Ricky Cobb Show?
She better now.
Let me tell you, our thumbnail on Monday is going to be popcorn and pictures of cockatiels.
I'm
being serious. That's
slowly build the channel.
That's the last line in the left fold. It was about YouTube sounds. Go figure.
There you go.
There you go.
So
I hope I'm in Olivia's algorithm.
We're going to take a hard turn here, Ricky. We're going away from weird pets and animals and growths on shoulders and huge dongs and
that was more than a growth.
Yeah, and,
that was a lot more than a growth.
That was more than a growth.
Yes.
So this is about college sports, college athletics, and how much the landscape has changed. And this is a new one for me. So there's a kid who has played basketball at Princeton for the last 3 years. His name's Caden Pierce, and he's the best player in the Ivy League. Okay.
Well, he looks like every guy who's ever been good at Princeton, doesn't he?
He can just drain threes. So
backdoor cut like a motherfucker.
Oh
that
God,
guy.
Yeah, absolutely. His chest pass are impeccable. So in the Ivy League, you don't get scholarships, and you also don't get any money. Like quarterbacks are making whatever $1 million to $4 million a year in college football. Ivy League, you don't get that kind of money. Now you can get like endorsements. So like if the Ricky Cobb show wanted to sponsor this guy, we could do that for him. But he's not making the big bucks. So you ready for this, Ricky? He has decided to sit out his senior year, finish his education, get his Princeton degree, and then he's probably going to go to whoever the highest bidder is in college basketball the next year. So this is a whole new twist that never thought about before.
All right. So his plan is he's going to take a year, get the degree, hold on to his year of eligibility,
right?
Walk away with the Ivy League education.
Yep.
And then he will go to a school that can pay him what he believes he's worth.
Because he's good. He's
welcome to college athletics in 2025.
But
I don't begrudge the players making money.
Oh my gosh,
I really don't.
No.
I don't begrudge it at all.
I mean, I'd say to Caden, well played. I'd say well played, rough. Dude. Well played, Caden.
I mean, look, I don't fault him. I hate the fact that we have a system that is getting exploited in these kinds of ways. But I mean, as far as the kid goes, more power to him because he has the opportunity and he can go and make money to take care of himself and his future and whatever. He should do that. But they got to clean this Wild West
got to figure something
environment up, Ron. Let's go to picks. It's Friday. That means NFL picks. The stakes are high, as always, because one of us is going to be wearing Angel Reese merch at the conclusion of the season. We'll start with Ron's picks. Ron comes in.
You had to put the X on already?
You've already got a loss.
Listen,
that's great. We're now tied, basically.
I took Jared's advice. Jared convinced me he take the Rams. And I'm like, all right, all right, I'll do it. I'll do it, Jared. And they went down 14 to nothing. What you get. Yep, they went down 14 to nothing. I texted Jared last night. I said, nice advice, dude.
Obviously a lack of confidence in Mac Jones and his levels of potassium, Ron.
Dude was just sucking down
eating bananas on the sideline like Harambe.
Oh my God.
This kid. Yeah. That's what Bill Belichick saw in him all those years ago, Ron.
Yeah.
We got a glimpse of it. All right. So I'm a half game behind you as we start.
Yep. So I'm going to go in Vikings just because I think if Dylan Gabriel come into this game, in the second quarter, then maybe he would have, caught a little bit of lightning in a bottle. But I think the Vikings are just going to throw all kinds of crazy defenses and just confuse the shit out of him. The Vikings have already been in Europe because they played Pittsburgh last week. So they're acclimated, and the Browns are coming over there. I think that they're going to just shit stomp the Browns. So I'm taking the Vikings there. The Buccaneers, man, I feel like if the Buccaneers played games that were 70 minutes, they would be 17-0, right? It's just like they don't lose, they just run out of time. And I just don't think that they're going to lose by more than a field goal. I actually think they're going to win. Bengals are just god awful. So you could have made that line 17 and I would have taken the Lions.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, 3.5 looks pretty good with the Buccaneers. It was 3 on the lines that I was looking at as I was deciding. I suppose I should confirm with Jared sometimes some of these lines because I like that a lot better at 3.5 than I liked it at 3. And as you'll see, the Bengals, I'm always wary of these teams that are so fucking low down. Like, I think we've seen the worst of the Bengals, probably. So I'm not sure, but if I had to make a pick on that game, I would ride with you on that one as well. And as you will see, I definitely approve of your Vikings pick because, well, that's one of my picks as well.
Same reasons.
That's the only one that you and I are doing the same thing on. I'm going to go with the Vikings pretty much for the same reasons that you have stated. I like the Chargers giving 2.5 against the Commanders this weekend. Cowboys, and they're at home. It's a good Chargers team. All they got to do is win by a field goal. I think that they can do that. I don't believe the Commanders are so fucking good that I can't let them have 2.5 points in Los Angeles. Cowboys, anytime I take the Cowboys, I always feel like, okay, bro, are you playing yourself? I may very well be playing myself here, but the Jets are not good. And they're only giving up 2.5 at the Meadowlands. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. And then I'm also going to take another road favorite here. I've got 3 road favorites, although that road game there that the Vikings are playing is not really a road game.
Yeah.
The Vikings, it is they're the first team in NFL history, Ron, to play 2 games in a row outside of the United States. So maybe it's a home game, if anything, for the Vikings. At this point. And then the last one, I'll be honest with you, I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs laying 3.5 at the Jaguars, hoping that Jaguars are going to Jaguar or Jaguars.
I think you just said Jaguars 3 different ways.
I did. Because I've always said Jaguars. That is like, because I'm from Kentucky. Armando corrected me. He said, what?
I say Jaguar.
Yeah. Well, that's what Armando told me that it is. But of course, when our friend Charles C.W. Cook is on the program, being the great British intellectual that he is, British American intellectual that he is, he would say Jaguar.
Yeah.
As they talk about the fine automobiles. So those are the picks. We'll see how it breaks down. I'm glad to be within a half a game of you. I just can't let you get too far ahead of me, because playing catch up with only 4 games a week is not an enviable position to find yourself in. Let's go to poll replies and see what people are saying. Playoff baseball is your winner. It's going to move on to the Why Not tournament, where I don't know, like, where are we going to seed it? I feel like it's got to be like no higher than an 8 seed when it gets there, especially because baseball playoffs will be out of season. Yeah, exactly. But look at that, an absolute blowout. Rex Crum, by the way, Rex Crum texting me earlier when we were in break, telling me that he's from Seattle. And by the way, if you ever wanted to come and stay with him, he would charge you the sweetheart rate of only $100 a night.
Dude, that's less than we paid for hotels, so I would take him up on it.
It's a pretty good idea. I got a feeling that he would probably give you an IPA if you asked him nicely. Rex saying, as a diehard, long-suffering Seattle Mariners fan whose team is in the playoffs for just the second time in 24 years, you bet your ass I'll be in the T-Mobile sedans with a margarita in my hand this Saturday. So, that's enough for me right there. Just, Rex Crum and my buddy Brent, I got to ride with them. We were promised zombies, says, I love bubble wrap. I don't know. I think everybody at least likes bubble wrap. Some people.
I think it's one of those things, Ricky, you don't think about. I don't think you ever think about bubble wrap until it's right in front of you, and then you're just like, I'm going to pop some bubble wrap. But it's not one of those things like you think about pizza, you think about playoff baseball, you think about the music you like. You don't think about bubble wrap, but if it's there, you got to pop it.
Bubble wrap is like, I just bought something and look at this. I feel a need in my bones that I don't even understand.
And I think it's a male thing too, because I've never seen Lori do it. So I think it's a male thing.
I don't know. I'll ask my daughters this weekend how they feel about bubble wrap, and I'll report back to you on that. Oh my God.
It's not even a towel, it's a burrito.
It's a burrito. It's Ronnie Tarkanian here. Yeah, good stuff. Look at that. Look at that. All right, Ronnie. Appreciate you as always, my friend. My thanks to Trey Wallace for being on the program. My thanks to Adam and Molly and Colin in Nashville, to the Unabomber Part 2, P.A. Jared, and of course, producer Tim.
Nobody knows why.
Most of all, I thank you. Yeah, he does. People are wondering, is P.A. Jared radicalized? What's going on here? He was just wearing a hoodie It looked kind of like the police drawing of the Unabomber, much younger, better looking Unabomber. But no, P.A. Jarrett is a great young American. He gives me hope for the future of this land of ours. But most of all, I thank you guys, you sweet bastards, because you're the reason that we do this. This is what makes it so much fun. Without you, there is no me. So, of course, I love you. You can find us, as always, at Fox Nation, Outkick.com, and on YouTube at that Ricky Cobb Show channel that Olivia the Cockatiel enjoys tuning us in on. If you prefer to consume us in podcast form, we got you covered. You can go over to Spotify or Apple and get your dose of the show there, or perhaps you'll elect to find us on Facebook or Instagram, maybe even TikTok. And of course, you know where to find me and the show on X. Just head on over to Super 70 Sports this weekend. I'd like to have the company. But most importantly, have a great weekend. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, enjoy getting out, enjoy the weather. Whatever it is that you do, I hope that you do it well. And let's make a deal that we'll meet back here again on Monday when we will get your week started right, when we tee it high and let it fly with another episode of The Ricky Cobb Show.